Alright, Schlockmeister fans, a re-review from my old channel, previous channel. This is From Beyond the Grave, an anthology. Let's check it out. David Warner in Peter Cushing's shop wants to buy a mirror.
Good morning, sir. Can I help you at all? Good morning. I was just...
They dicker on the price a bit,
It's a deal.
but they do come to a deal. So right away, of course, naturally, he decides to hold a seance with some of his friends, and something happens. And of course, it takes place in that mirror, what you're about to see. That's pretty damn creepy. He next envisions himself face to face with whoever's in there.
You must feed me.
I guess "you must feed me" means bring home a prostitute and kill her. So he brings someone else home. He's killing everybody.
Now look here. The wheel has turned almost. You alone can seal that circle. Give me the power to thrust forward.
I guess this is the last step he needs to come back to life and be whatever the hell he is. Now, before he left, he did promise David Warner some sort of eternal life. Apparently, he is now in the mirror, and this is the view from the mirror over the years. And lucky him, this last set of people we see decide to have a seance. And the circle completes. Our second story, called An Act of Kindness, is Donald Pleasance. He's blind. He's a salesman.
Thank you very much, sir.
Diana Doors, his bitchy wife. Now back into Peter Cushing's shop, he had this war medal that he was interested in. He told Donald Pleasance that he was in the war and got decorated, but I think he was lying. But he came back in and stole it real quick. Anyway, Donald Pleasance invites him over for dinner to meet his daughter, Emily, played by Angela Pleasance, his real-life daughter. By the way, I mentioned that Donald Pleasance was blind. I don't think he is, actually. Later on, Emily shows up in the bedroom of the man and his wife in a creepy outfit. She holds a sword over Diana Doors' body.
Yes,
I wish to serve you.
Not sure what Emily means by that. But the next thing you know, I guess they spent the night together. It looks like they're into voodoo stuff. That's Diana Doors.
Why not? You hate her. She despises you. As the years race by, your life will become more miserable. Your order has been carried out.
He goes home and finds his wife dead.
What happened? Tell me what happened.
Mum went out of the door. There was a lady dressed in black. She had a pin.
So with Diana doors out of the way, the two get married.
Long life, good health, and every happiness possible.
And then he tells her to cut the cake, which he immediately regrets. And that's the end of the story. I guess the kid wished it. Our third story is called The Elemental, and it starts with this guy who is in the proprietor's store, and he's switching the price tags on a couple of snuff boxes. And he still bargains.
Should we say four? Oh, you do strike a hard bargain.
There's an elemental on your shoulder. He's a killer.
And what is an elemental?
You may consider yourself privileged.
But what exactly is?
An elemental? Oh, it's a spirit of air, fire, and water. An invisible, bodiless creature which lusts after the pleasures of the flesh.
Now he's at home with his wife.
You can have a bath.
What did you do that for?
Ah,
You know damn well you just hit me.
Later on in bed that night, apparently that elemental is choking his wife.
What do you think you're doing?
In the name of hell are you getting at?
So he ends up calling Madame Orloff because she can help him.
Fatal. He'll run you off the road if he knows I'm coming. No, I'll hire a car and add him to the bill.
So she tries some sort of like exorcism.
You any snub, and I'll crush your soul. Crush your snub. Get out now! Be gone! We've got him! Flee through the windows! Fly from the gates! Flog by my power! Slay!
So she was apparently successful.
well, it's all over, darling. Not now.
Then they start to hear something.
Sit still here. Susan? Susan!
Our last story is called The Door.
More interested in this door. Oh, a remarkable piece of work, that's magnificent construction. Yes, I rescued that myself from the demolition man.
And Peter Cushing leaves the room for a second, even though he bargained down to 40 pounds instead of 50. I think it's hinted that this guy stole some of the money. So he's taken the door and installed it in his house.
Read something a bit more exciting than a station.
All right, what do you think was that?
I don't know.
Well, later that evening when he's by himself, the door opens up, and instead of the stationery closet, he finds this. And then he bolts. Of course, when he opens it a few minutes later, he finds a book. Something about an evil. Things get even weirder when the author of that book, who looks like a pirate, comes out. Later on, he hears a scream, and then he finds his girl in the hands of Mr. Pirate. He starts using an axe on the door, and that seems to have an effect. And there he locked in. But they start smashing the door again, and it has a It's like the door and the pirate guy are as one. He keeps smashing at the door until it comes off its hinges. Which pretty much finishes this guy. And we see as his body kind of disintegrates, melts, turns into a skeleton. They're free. The door is now hiding stationary. Actually, I think he didn't steal that money, and that's why he lived. We pay one final visit to the proprietor's store. This guy is a shady character, as you're about to see.
I'll shoot! I'm warning you, I'll shoot!
And he's going to shoot, but it has no effect. And that's our film.
Oh, and a big novelty surprise goes with every purchase. Don't come in anytime.
All right, let's talk about From Beyond the Grave. Now, this is one of those Amicus films, those anthology movies. They made, God, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. I'm not sure. Vault of Horror, Tales from the Crypt, Asylum. Asylum and Vault of Horror were the first two I ever had. But From Beyond the Grave is a movie I taped off of cable probably in 1993 or so. And I watched it once then. I watched it on my previous channel when I reviewed it there, and I'm watching it now. That was the third time in my life I've seen this. So we have 4 stories here. And we have the story about the last story was about the gate. I'm sorry, not the gate. I'm losing my train of thought here. Excuse me. The last story, well, put it with this. Peter Cushing runs a store, a little shop of some sort, and he gets all these characters that come in, and they purchase something. And it seems like almost everything he sells is cursed or something, but it seems like everything these people do inside the store, they do something bad. They steal or change the prices on something or whatever the case is, except for the very last guy. The last guy here is the one who bought this door, and he set it up in his apartment. And he's the only one that had a happy ending. The previous stories did not. We had the wedding guy who with Donald Pleasance in there, and he ended up dying. And everything turned out bad, with the exception of that final story. So I think that's the point of this story. You're good, you live. You're bad, you die. I don't know. I'm rambling here. I'm not making a lot of sense, but this was a long review, and I'm going to wrap it up. So anyway, it's From Beyond the Grave. Like I said, it's one of these Amicus films. I have this, it looks like a standalone DVD, but I got this in a box set from the Twisted Terror collection, which you can see it says it right there. What that is this thing here. I bought this off Amazon, maybe 12 years ago or so, 10 years ago. And they mailed it to me, and they said it was delivered, but it wasn't there. I looked all over, it wasn't there. So I called them, and they sent me a new one, brand new. And then about like 3 months later, I was in my backyard, and I noticed it was sitting out. There was a box sitting out there by the back door, which is never, ever, 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 ever used. I've had tons of Amazon deliveries, none of which ever went to the back door. Apparently they did that day. So I contacted Amazon, asked them if they wanted it back, and they said, no, that's okay, you can keep it. So I ended up having 2 of those, and I gave the other one to my friend. So anyway, that is From Beyond the Grave. It's an Amicus film, anthology films. I do enjoy these British anthologies. I think they're pretty cool. Let me know what you think about it. Excuse me. Leave some comments down below. It's From Beyond the Grave. Watch it. Bye.